Okay, so you ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So today we're switching things up a bit,
Yeah.
Usually we're digging into like some dense book or a long form article for these deep dives, but
Right.
today's source material is well, it's a little different to say the
Yeah,
least.
well, they're unconventional.
It's basically like this short, really snappy piece of advice that I stumbled across online, and it's all about trading.
Online trading advice, huh? That can be a bit of a minefield.
It totally is.
Yeah.
And that's actually what caught my eye about this one. Kind of goes against that whole get rich quick mentality that you see everywhere online these days.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of that going around.
Like a lot. So I got kind of intrigued, right? Like, what if this simple advice actually holds the key to like real financial success? That's what we're going to try to figure out today.
Sounds like a good mission. So what's this advice that has you so curious?
All right. So get this. It basically says straight up, don't focus on 3xing your account in 1 month.
Okay, yeah, that is definitely going against the grain.
Right. It's like a total reality check in this world
Huh.
where like everyone's obsessed with instant results.
Everyone wants the overnight success story.
Exactly. But instead of chasing those quick wins, this advice is all about focusing on building a solid foundation.
Interesting.
Yeah, it specifically says to focus on following your system, your rules, and your risk plan.
Okay, I'm liking this already. That's a much more grounded approach.
Right. And then it hits you with this like really enticing promise. Money will follow.
Ah, so it's not saying you won't make money, just that it's not the primary focus.
Exactly. But help me unpack this a little. Like, why is this long-term, slow and steady wins the race approach so important, especially in trading?
Well, think about it this way. All those get-rich-quick schemes you see out there, they usually crumble just as quickly as they rise, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They prey on our desire for instant gratification, but they rarely lead to, like, any kind of sustainable success.
Makes sense.
Remember, like, the whole GameStop thing a few years back?
Oh, yeah. How could I forget?
Lots of people jumped in hoping to, like, get rich quick, and a lot of them ended up losing a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a wild ride.
And this advice we're looking at today, it's like a reminder that building wealth, whether through trading or anything else, it takes time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. It requires a solid foundation, a long-term perspective.
Okay, so it's not about chasing hype or trying to time the market perfectly. It's about building that foundation with those three things: the system, the rules, and the risk plan. It kind of sounds like a recipe or something, right?
It kind of is. It's like a recipe for consistent success in trading. So let's break down these ingredients a bit. You got your system first.
Okay, yeah, the system. So what exactly does that mean in this context?
Well, think of a system as your, like, trading roadmap. It's your set of guidelines that help you make informed decisions, not just emotional ones, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. So can you give an example of what a trading system might look like?
Sure, let's say your system involves, like, analyzing a company's financial reports and then only buying their stock if it meets, like, certain criteria that you've set.
Okay, yeah.
That becomes your guide, right? Instead of just, like, reacting emotionally to, like, all the ups and downs of the market.
So it's about taking emotion out of the equation as much as possible.
Exactly.
And then there are the rules. What kind of rules are we talking about here?
Well, rules are kind of like your guardrails, right? They keep you disciplined and they prevent you from making those impulsive moves that can really derail your progress.
Yeah, like those emotional decisions we were just talking about.
Exactly. So imagine you have a rule that says, I'll never risk more than 2% of my capital on a single trade.
Okay.
That rule is there to protect you from potentially catastrophic losses, even if you're feeling, like, super confident about a trade.
It was like a safety measure.
It is. It's like having a set bedtime even when you don't feel tired, you know, to make sure you get enough sleep in the long run.
I like that analogy.
Uh,
A bedtime for your trading.
right. It's all about discipline and consistency.
And then we've got the risk plan. It seems like everyone's always focused on, making money, but this advice puts equal weight on managing potential losses.
Right, because let's face it, losses are going to happen. They're inevitable in trading, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So a risk plan is like your safety net. It outlines exactly how you're going to handle those losing trades.
Okay, so what might that look like in practice?
Well, for example, your plan might involve setting something called stop-loss orders.
Oh, right.
Those automatically sell your stock if it drops to a certain price, you know? That way, you're limiting your potential losses and protecting your capital so you can keep trading.
So it's kind of like damage control.
Yeah, exactly. It's like wearing a helmet when you're rock climbing.
Oh, got it. It won't prevent you from falling, but it could save your life.
Precisely. So you see, this whole approach, this advice, it's all about being prepared for those ups and downs and not getting swept away by the highs and lows of the market.
It's a more level-headed approach, for sure.
Right.
Thinking long term.
But there's that one line in the advice that really stood out to me. That money will follow part. It's so tempting to just focus on that.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. It's like the dangling carrot, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But is it really that simple? Like, if you just follow your system and your rules and manage your risk, will the money just magically appear?
Well, it's important to remember that money will follow doesn't mean you'll become a millionaire overnight.
Yeah, okay.
It's not about instant riches, it's about the long game.
The marathon.
Exactly. By focusing on building that robust system, sticking to your rules, managing risk, you're essentially setting the stage for consistent, sustainable growth. The money then becomes a byproduct of that process.
So it's not about chasing the money directly. It's about creating the right conditions for it to grow.
You got it.
Slow and steady wins the race, huh?
Absolutely.
It's funny, though, because this whole idea, this principle, it really applies to so much more than just finance, doesn't it?
You're absolutely right. It's a powerful mindset shift, really.
Like, think about fitness goals, right? It's not about finding that, like, magical quick fix diet or workout routine.
Right.
It's about building those healthy habits, being consistent, and, having a plan for when you inevitably slip up.
It's about the long-term process, not the quick fix.
So it's really like a way of approaching any challenge with that long-term perspective, with a focus on building a solid foundation.
Exactly. It's about focusing on the process, not just the outcome.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with as they kind of ponder all of this?
Yeah, I think the big takeaway here is, as you think about your own goals, whether they're financial, personal, whatever, ask yourself these 3 questions, right? What are my systems? What are my non-negotiable rules? And how am I managing those potential risks? Building that solid foundation, that's what sets you up for true success.
Great advice. Thanks for diving into this with me.
My pleasure. Always enjoy these conversations.
Until next time, see you then.